Healthcare and access to healthcare concerns people in both the developed and developing worlds. With an increasingly integrated global economy and growth of the healthcare and pharmaceutical industries, there are more opportunities for the global market to provide healthcare, especially in places where the government is not adequately providing this service.
We are debating the question, should the market provide health through the privatization of healthcare? From the position of the developed world and developed states, it is clear that the market should not provide health through the privatization of healthcare. Rather, the state should provide healthcare. Allowing the market to provide healthcare leads to the following. 1. Unequal access to healthcare. 2. Rising costs of medications, treatment, and insurance. 3. Commodifies the human need for good health, making an immoral profit off of people's illnesses.
From the perspective of the developing world, the market should be allowed to provide health through the privatization of healthcare because it gives people in developing countries the opportunity to access healthcare even if their state doesn't or is unable to provide it. It avoids taxation that would come with universal healthcare, as many people in these states cannot afford raised taxes. And it capitalizes on the fact that the market, to some extent, is already providing healthcare in the developing world through the privatization of health-focused aid.
From the developed point of view, the healthcare system of the United States is a strong example of why the market should not be allowed to provide health through the privatization of healthcare. In the United States, which does not have universal healthcare, it is becoming increasingly unattainable for more and more U.S. citizens to access healthcare as the market increases the costs. Health insurance premiums are rising, and the quality of the insurance policies are falling. The average annual premiums for family coverage has increased at least 5% per year. Single coverage deductibles have risen approximately 67% in recent years. Healthcare costs are too high, and majority of people in the United States cannot keep up with the rising costs of treatment and medication, leading many to simply avoid going to a medical doctor, stop or limit taking their medication, buying secondhand medication and treatment, or even making homemade medications like EpiPens. Privatization of healthcare only helps those who can afford it, not the whole country.